Welcome in, everybody, as the 2-minute warning has gone off for Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills. We're going to count it down for you. I went ahead and made a guesstimate here that it's going to be the Bills versus the Chiefs. Welcome in, like, sub, hit the bell. We're going to take you through here and tell you what we think. Been an interesting day of football. A lot of white on the field, a lot of snow. I'm a little bit surprised at how this has gone to this point. The Ravens are driving. Looks like they just crossed the 50 here on 2nd and 6. And Lamar's throwing. Mark Andrews making the catch, gets down to the 25-yard line. Dan, how do you feel right now? Do you think they get here? And I'm totally wrong, and we're going to like overtime on a 2-point conversion.
I want overtime. That's what I want. I don't know what's going to happen. I think that's what they want, but I want overtime. I want to see these guys go at it into the overtime because we know that extra day of rest is only going to be more important for the Chiefs if they have another game where it's taken into overtime and you have to hit these guys for another quarter. It's not going to end as quickly because it is the postseason. Don't forget, postseason rules change. Each team is guaranteed a possession. It's not just one and done if you score a touchdown. So this can get wild.
I'm looking forward to it. The more they beat the crap out of each other, the better off the Kansas City Chiefs are, and we are as a fan base. And yes, I've been called more a fan in the last 24 hours than any other time in my life. So we're going to embrace it a little bit as he completes into the end zone. And they go, whoo, good Lord. Within striking distance.
Time.
Too much time for Josh.
Even if they get a 2-point conversion, it's too much time. It doesn't matter. It does not matter for me. That there's too much time with 2 timeouts. Nope, can't be doing that. Yeah, I get it.
You are right. Dang. Let's see what happens. They have to go for 2. They are lining up for it. They're on the field at the moment, and we're going to watch this with you guys. Welcome in. If you haven't joined us in a while, make sure you subscribe to the channel while we're doing this. This is a 2-point conversion. The Ravens are down by 2, minute and 33 remaining, and into motion goes likely Lamar from the snap, and it is Lamar looking to get rid of that ball, and Andrews does not make the catch.
No, that's game anyway. So
that is
there it is.
So
either way.
I made a guess, and I was close to right. It just took a little bit longer. Hey, Cole, thank you for joining us. Everybody knows Cole, one of our moderators around here. Appreciate you guys. Oxidal, nice to see you. But, see, this is how I do things. I know it's not quite over. That's why I put a question mark in it. I was trying to say, could it really be?
Honestly, Mark Andrews, one of his worst games as a pro football player, and one of the biggest ones. Lamar didn't have a great game, but the fumble and then not catching that football in the end zone to tie the football game, that's bad news, Bears.
You cannot blame him for going for it. I can't blame the play call. I thought it was there. It was a little bit of a tough catch, especially with the footing out here, but calculated risk.
Hands underneath it. He's got hands under, and it hits him in the chest, and he just drops the football. I get it. It's a hard football. In these situations, you've been practicing for it all week. You've been practicing for the cold with hard footballs, trying to catch them all different ways, shapes, and forms. This is not new to them. I don't envy them at all, but you're a professional athlete. Mark Andrews is, one of the better tight ends in football, and he made 2 costly mistakes. And Lamar did too. Let's not forget. He made some very costly mistakes as well. But in those hinge moments in the second half, Lamar was better, and Mark Andrews maybe cost them a chance to be in this football game.
Must be. I mean, we're going to onside here, which is the only way that they feel that they can get it. Because you give Josh the ball, it's over. I don't
have timeouts anyway.
Right.
They don't have timeouts.
It's burned. They do. It looks like they have 1 remaining by the broadcast. I don't know if that's actually correct.
Yeah.
I only got home within the last 90 minutes. So, but the Bills do recover on a dribbling little onsides. I'm not sure. Did it go the full distance? Doesn't look like there's a flag down, so it looks like it's Bills and it's over.
What are we doing with onside kicks? Stop dribbling it. Find somebody, aim it at their face, hope you get a deflection. This has to be make them make a great catch. Hit them and get a deflection. That's what every onside kick should be. No more of this nonsense trying to dribble it or kick it way up in the air. Find somebody, aim it at their face, and let's be over with this.
Yeah, it's over. That's for sure. A lot of friendly faces here. This sets up, and the reason that I did go with this on the thumb here as we watch the end of this ball game, Josh, I believe, is going to hand it off here probably because they do have 1 timeout. So, yeah, it does go to Cook. He's through, stutter stepping, but breaks through, gets a first down, and is off and running yet again. Wisely slides inbounds. Smart move by Cook. This is going to get salted away. I put him on the cover because this is what I expected, and it just is too good to set up what's about to happen, and that is another rematch with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. And if you're a conspiracy theorist, this is exactly what's been planned since they wrote the script in March or whatever it was. So, hey, you got what you wanted. That's the way that it works. There's a lot going on here. Oh, did you? Okay.
You guys know I wanted the Chiefs to beat them, and I wanted the AFC Championship to be the Chiefs versus Bills, so you can get that revenge. I don't think you have as much motivation against the Ravens team you've beaten twice in the last calendar year. You get more against the Bills team that beat you earlier in the season. What's up?
That's a very, very good point. What do the Bills do that would be the biggest threat to the Chiefs? Well, right now, it's getting to Patrick in ways that are unconventional. There's a couple of guys that always seem to make plays against the Chiefs, like Epinesa, Russo, getting to that left tackle spot. A lot of hubbub. I haven't rewatched the game yet. You'll get that from me tomorrow. I'm sure, Dan, you may have taken a look at it. I know you'll break something down. It comes down to the classic matchups, but I am less scared of Cook than I am of Derrick Henry right now. It's a little bit more, I feel, a matchup to matchup kind of thing. How do you feel about what's going to happen?
Josh Allen's more dangerous to me than their offense, than the Ravens' offense. I'll be honest with you. Their defense also got pushed around in this football game. The Bills' offensive line is the better of the three of the teams that were available. Chiefs, Ravens, and Bills. The Bills' offensive line is clearly better in every phase, pass protection and run blocking. There's zero question about it in my mind. This is going to be a very difficult game, regardless of James Cook or not. Like, he's got 17 rushing touchdowns this year. So it's not like he's a pushover. He's dramatically improved from a contact balance, reading his blocks, patience as well. Let's not forget, watching this game, he was all over the place, making little simple cuts, being patient, and doing all of the right things to just not lose the football game. So this is the matchup that I wanted. Yes, it's going to be a tough one. And right now, Josh Allen's playing at a really high level. And that second half weirdness, I would say, to start was kind of a maybe a breath moment for them. They were like, okay, we're up 2 scores, and then we forgot we're up 2 scores. So we'll see what happens.
It's very Chiefs of them to do it that way. It kind of felt like to me. They are going, second time in the AFC Championship for them. It feels like it's more to me, right? It feels like it's been the Bills more, but this is on the Chiefs' turf this time. This is going to be back at Arrowhead, and that's all that it comes back to. Oxadal, appreciate you. No big deal. Just trying to kind of set it up as the way that it goes. Let's see. We need to watch out for Josh Allen. Absolutely. I mean, he's always a factor. And I think maybe the scarier thing here is that the Chiefs got to keep them out of 3rd and short, because Josh now is very, very comfortable running what Jalen runs in Philly and just getting those 2 yards with a fullback pushing his rear. That works. I think that's a scary development that they've kind of grafted that onto what the Bills do. And even when you think you got him stopped, now there's just another way that Josh doesn't have to go around the outside tackle. He's just going to go push straight forward. And if you look, you can see it in his stance.
Let's be honest about this. The Chiefs have to go for it on more 4th downs in this football game against the Bills, because they're going to go for every 4th and short every single time. You have to match it. You cannot punt the football. In small situations, in closing in an opponent's territory, you cannot kick field goals when you are 4th and short inside the in there. You cannot settle for field goals. This game is not going to be won on Butker's leg unless you get the ball down 3 or a tied game at the end of the football game. That's the only situation I want him kicking real field goals, unless you're tying it or you don't have a choice because it's 4th and long. 4th and short, Andy Reid needs to match what we've seen from Dan Quinn, from all of these head coaches right now that are starting to go for it in these real situations, high leverage situations. Andy Reid has to match that, or they, in my opinion, will not win this football game.
Yeah, it's got to be more aggressive. I'm completely with Chris. Good pointing this out. Every year Lamar wins the MVP, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Okay. Well, let's keep that role going. I am completely into that. Terry, do you guys think that if the Chiefs win next week, they will play the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm not convinced. I have to say the Commanders took me by surprise, played much better than I thought, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. I do think it'll be a pretty knockdown drag out for the NFC championship game, but we will see. Do you have a feeling one way or the other?
I think the way that we've seen, again, it's going to be in Philadelphia. That's the problem here. And wait, is it going to be in Philadelphia? Yeah, it's going to be Philadelphia.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, because they're a Washington wild card team. So it's going to be in Philly. And I'm here to say, if it's cold and if there's snow, I'm taking Philly. I'm taking Philly. I love what Jaden Daniels does. I think he's a fantastic football player. I don't think he's ready for that moment in that cold, in that weather. I don't believe their team is ready for it either. What they've been, what they've done is fantastic. And I respect it. It's one of the best storylines we've seen in a long time. That team, new owner, new ownership, new GM, new head coach, whole new philosophy. They come in, they get the guy, and then they just win football games. So I just don't think that they're ready in that situation to win, but we'll find out.
I mean, what a hell of an evolution if it were to happen. Kudos to them. They have done a heck of a job. Nice to see you, McGuyface. Yes, revenge game on deck. It goes well when the Chiefs are properly motivated. Let's just put it that way. So
absolutely.
8 quarters, Chris. 8 quarters and counting. You're absolutely right. No disrespect from Brad, but outside some cheesy QB draw TDs, Jay Allen threw for 120 yards tonight. Let's be real. Yes, let's be real. He gets in the red zone, and then they run him. And
what do you have to do?
Yeah, Nick Bolton has to be on it.
What did Buffalo have to do? They could run the ball at will. They didn't need Josh Allen to be Superman. When it came to 3rd and short, for the short, sure, hand him the football. In the red zone, he carried guys in for 2 touchdowns. That's the problem. There is no disrespect because they didn't need him to be Superman. And when you can run the football at all like that, like they did with everybody, Ray Davis, with Johnson, with Cook, and Josh Allen, you don't need him to do much.
That's absolutely fair. Yeah. And nice saying hi to you too, Avery.
Yeah, my name's up there. You can say hi.
That's how you spell it. Hi. So famous. We'll start the Avery channel coming up next year. Rogue rematch. I love that one, Scott. That is awesome. Knicks fan, nice to see you, pal. Ravens doing what they always do, lose in the playoffs. I am pretty much with you. There is a string here. A lot of folks into this Washington Chiefs Super Bowl possibility. I find it intriguing. I don't know right now if I thought it was enough of a possibility to even start really breaking it down in my head as to what I think would happen. Can they contain Jaden? They have one of the more athletic groups here. And certainly if you're gonna spy, I could be really tempted to drop Chamari down and let him spy on Jaden. He can take those angles early. I think it would be great. You don't think he's got the speed to cut off the angles?
He doesn't have, it's not the speed, it's the quickness. He doesn't have the quickness. He can't stop a start. I'm not doing that personally. I would much rather see Leo Chanel do that because we've seen him do it against Lamar. He can do it against Jaden. And plus, Lamar's bigger and he can take more hits. I think that if Leo caught him, he'd probably fall over.
Brendan, nice to see you. Thank you. Folks, we're not spending a whole lot of time. Just wanted to be on with you when we found out who the opponent is going to be. I will be on Locked On Chiefs here. We're going to record that here shortly, but I think this went the way that I personally had been kind of hoping it would because I like the rematch possibility. I love the history of these two teams. I think it will be an epic ball game yet again. And honestly, I just feel like there is a familiarity that I think actually helps the Chiefs against the Bills. Am I crazy?
I don't think so. I think you also saw some things defensively that can help out the Chiefs from this football game. You had 2 elusive quarterbacks. And there was one play specifically from the Bills, actually, that I would love to see the Chiefs steal in that red zone where they shifted all the defensive linemen down and then looped the linebacker over, kind of forcing Lamar out to his right, and then brought a linebacker over to kind of spy him. I would love to see the Chiefs do that a little bit with Leo Chanel, but maybe have Chris Jones do whatever you want because it's Chris Jones. If you can get to the quarterback, but bring Leo over and force Josh Allen out to his right. And I would like that matchup. I think that I would take Leo Chanel being able to limit him in that situation over what you see. But overall, this is exactly the matchup, again, that I wanted. I think that you help the Chiefs out by motivating them with a loss earlier in the season. And for whatever reason, these postseason games between the Chiefs and the Bills, they make not just for classics, but for some of the best football from Kansas City. If you think about the postseason games that they've played, most of the time, the best times that they play, specifically offensively, are against this Bills team. That's what they need. They need to have an offensive game where they feel comfortable. Feels like they kind of have a little bit of comfort against the Bills offensively. Now, maybe I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth, but I don't know. We'll find out.
Familiarity breeds both sides of it, right? Comfort in that
sure.
you feel you understand their capabilities. It's about who comes up with the new tricks. And I will put my money on Andy Reid every time, all the time, no matter what, when it comes to delineating off of what you've done before and showing them something new. Scott, I have the Chiefs winning the AFC Championship game. It's not a question to me. It's just by how much, and how much does my heart have to take in the last 13 seconds or so? That's what I'm worried about. There is a reason we call him the Reaper. And we got to remember that, folks. It is in the store. I should get it back out. It's buried in my closet somewhere. But the Reaper gear is still available on the RGR store where you can get Dan's hat and everything. It is still there. And I think this is the day, this is the week to bring it out. Let's make sure that he gets back there. Andy Reid isn't scared. You're absolutely right, 19. 4th and 1, very, very astute. We have to see him be more aggressive. We are going to get to the Super Chats. I know I've let a couple of them stack up. Apologies, I've taken so long, folks. We're just trying to, get the topic of the night done, and then we're going to go over and record Locked On Chiefs with Chris. So, Exotle, thank you very much, buddy. Very much appreciated. Got Knicks fan. Dub Freak, thank you again, as always, and a big hit last night, too. Thanks, buddy. Are you thinking that we still play Zone D? Because Stroud feasted on the middle of the field, and I feel Allen would be even more deadly. He might be. I'm more worried about trying to force a cover 2 look, a cover 2 man, and having Shakir actually get away, because the quickness of Shakir, I think, is the disadvantage maybe against the nickels, particularly if they go Connor.
A little bit. I just started getting into the game. I've been with my daughter all day long. We went, we played games this morning. We went to see a movie. We went to dinner. So I've been, taking a family day with her. So I haven't gotten to the film. I just started watching it before we went live. And one of the plays, chunk plays they had over the middle of the field was zone cover. It was man coverage. It wasn't zone. It was Jamar Connor being like 3 yards with outside leverage on Nico Collins. And I don't know. I don't understand that at all from any way, shape, or form. But no matter what, they have to have different adjustments, because Nico Collins is also better than any receiver that the Bills have. Like that's another thing. Where's Amari Cooper in this offense? They'll probably try to attack in this game, but I'm telling you right now, give me Jalen Watson on Amari Cooper all day long. I'll take that matchup. Or
I will too.
Put him on Keon Coleman, and then put Trent McDuffie on Amari Cooper, or keep him on their best receiver in Shakir. They have matchups. They match up better for these receivers than they did against Nico Collins when you didn't have in my opinion, a fully ready to go Jalen Watson.
And I'll tell you this, I feel like the Spags matchup against the quarterback, I feel it's a little bit more of an advantage against Josh because he knows him so well. He's had to do so much prep. Yeah. I think Lamar's a little bit more just not quite zeroed in for Spags. I think it would be a little bit more work. But KY, great name, by the way. How many points will the Buffalo Bills be favored by next week? I'm not sure they are.
They won't be favorites, because you have to remember that home field advantage gives you 3 points. I think the Chiefs will probably be 2.5-point favorites. If I had to guess right now before the lines drop, I don't do lines. I don't guess lines. That's not my thing. But I would say that they're at least 2.5-point favorites. I would give it the most 4.
Okay, fair enough. I like it. Let's see what happens. And it probably will move. But if you want in on that action, we have a deal for you. Check out BetUS. You'll see more from them tomorrow night, and we can help you get there. Dub Freak, thanks, buddy. We appreciate you. I like that the respect that we've developed for Josh Allen. I do think he can be more deadly. We also know him a little bit better is the way that I feel overall. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Rodney. Nice to see you. Are you guys more confident in this game with the Bills secondary being hurt? It certainly doesn't hurt. And I thought, no offense to him, but Hamlin, I felt, played one of his worst games this season. It looks like Rapp's out. You tell me, like, how confident are you with their secondary?
It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest with you. It's more about the middle of the field. Matt Milano was back. I know that I would prefer Travis Kelce over Milano in that situation. They're a well-coached unit. I think you can expose DeMar Hamlin. I think you can get him confused. I think you can get Xavier Worthy over the top, and that's going to force him to take, especially because there's going to be times where he's in underneath a little bit too much, not back far enough. I think you can hit over the top at least once and put that fear in him and force him into some situations with either scissors concepts or some the clear out in the post or the dig dagger concepts, things like that. But they need to be able to run the football better than they did against the Texans.
Yeah, I completely agree. Looks like there's a line out on it already, folks. So it looks Chiefs are mildly favored. 1.5 sounds about right for Pat versus Josh, so that makes a lot of sense. We'll be talking with my guy Joe Marino out there in Buffalo this week, and I'm sure I'll have some clips from Buffalo Radio. They usually have me on a number of times, so we'll see what we can have them say. Thanks, 900. Appreciate that. And I saw FLDB and a bunch of other folks looking at the line, so cheers to you guys. Thank you, Miss Angie. Appreciate you very much, and the sticker. And Kyle, we're going to wrap up with you here, a nice quick 20-minute live, because Terrell Bernard's looking like he did pretty well out there, and I like those stats. This game is the reason that Andy and Spags have held stuff back all season, more than even the Super Bowl. Excited for the new wrinkles. I have a tendency for agree with you, not like they held it back just for this game, but they have specific things that they feel they can execute against the Bills that they will.
I'm less confident that they've been just saving stuff. I don't think that we really haven't seen Andy Reid do a ton of new stuff in the postseason either the last couple of years, but specifically last year because they couldn't. They had to run back to basics and simplify things, and I think that helped out. But also, you don't have Rashee Rice, 2 other new receivers with Xavier Worthy. It limits what you can hold back. So I think that they're going to stick with what works, but they're going to have little tiny tweaks off of things that they did in the first game. That's the difference here. Xavier Worthy doesn't catch that ball. He doesn't stay in bounds. What's he been doing ever since that football game? Catching out routes, catching everything at right there. What do you think that they've been doing? Why would they continue to do that? You think maybe they're going to throw one deep down the field to Xavier Worthy in the postseason along the sideline? I think maybe that's coming.
I think so too, and I'm here for it completely. Thank you, Kyle. We appreciate you. Sean, thank you. Remember, for 25 months, over 2 years now, if you guys would hit that like, we'd very much appreciate. Over almost 1,200 folks in here. Thank you both for the hard work. Thank you, Sean, for being here, because honestly, if it wasn't for you guys, we'd just be talking to each other and watching Avery have a good time. So we appreciate you guys.
She would have way more fun with that than we would.
Yeah, probably. It would be a blast. But we'll be back, of course, with the Q&A on Monday night like we always do. It'll be a little abbreviated. I do have to get to a college watch party because it is national championship, folks. We're gonna have an evening, and we're gonna know some stuff. Cody sneaking one in on me at the very end, but we will definitely see you all tomorrow night. Get that sub and that like. The D-line showed up big. Need that to continue. You're absolutely right, Cody. I do think there were some choices made in that game that allowed that to happen as well. The Bills are a different story. This defensive line is going to have to be all on all the time, top of their game across the whole thing, in my opinion.
That's the best part about this. I think that the Bills offensive line is the best, and that's going to bring the best out of the Chiefs defensive line. That it has to. The Ravens have a good offensive line, but I think that you can get after them a little bit. And we saw earlier in the game at times, the Bills were able to kind of stifle some of their runs, but Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry. He's going to break some here and there, and there's nothing you can do about that completely. So, best offensive line. This is the best. I think the Bills were the better team throughout the vast majority of the season, better than the Ravens. The Chiefs want to play the best teams. This will bring out the best in the Chiefs, and that's ultimately what we want to see.
I agree. And they are peaking at the perfect time. Let's get after it. Avery, you are a cutie. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Everyone, have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Q&A live, and I'll be on Locked On Chiefs in a little bit. We'll put that out later. It's not going to be a live. We got to record a couple of things. So
yeah.
Thank you for your time. Have a great evening, Miss Avery. I'll see you later, and we will talk to you tomorrow.